iOS 4.3 is now official for March 11th with some minor enhancements. Apple has just released the iPad 2, so we run down our predictions on the next generation iPhone with these changes. And yeah, we'll definitely talk about the things you didn't get on the March 2nd event. All this and more coming up right now. Hello everybody, I'm Jaime Rivera and welcome to the Pocketnow iReview, the show where we go through all this week's cool and the not so cool inside the world of Apple's iOS devices. March 2nd event happened, the iPad 2 was released, and so was iOS 4.3. Lots of stuff to talk about, so let's start off with the cool stuff. And well, the coolest news of the week was not necessarily having Apple launch the iPad 2 or announce iOS 4.3 for March 11th, but having Steve Jobs run the March 2nd keynote on his own even though he's still on medical leave. Really good to see that he's still there and he's still running business. Well, aside from that, iOS 4.3 only brings minor enhancements. First of all, you get enhancements to AirPlay for third-party developers to use these services through an Apple TV. Really hope to see something happen there with games. Aside from that, we get iTunes home sharing for iOS devices, and also we do get an enhanced JavaScript engine for Safari on mobile devices. Really not major changes. It's still on Goldmaster candidate for developers, and you'll be asking why these minor changes are not on the not so cool section. Little more on that a bit later. And well, even though we don't cover the iPad here, a lot of the changes that made it to the iPad 1 eventually made it to the iPhone 4, so expect the same thing for the next generation iPhone. The iPad 2 got an A5 dual-core processor, 9 times better graphics, HDMI mirroring out through an adapter which even gives you 1080p, and even a thinner design than the current generation iPhone 4 if that's even possible. So these are really cool changes for the next generation iPhone 4, not really groundbreaking, but do expect them to happen anytime in June. And well, on Apple Store news, it seems that Apple's finally working with music companies to allow you to download whatever songs you've purchased more than once. Meaning if you already downloaded a song on your iPhone, you can also download it again on your iPad without the need of syncing the songs between devices. My thoughts on that? What took you so long? I mean, you could also already do that with applications. Aside from that, well, on the iBooks store, it seems that Apple finally brought Random House to bring their 17,000 titles to make it to the iBooks store. Really cool changes. Again, what took you so long? And while on a recent interview to Tim Cook, Apple COO, it was clear that Apple is working on a cheaper iPhone. Not really sure if that will be a cheaper current iPhone with cheaper materials or a variant for the iPhone that is cheaper. If it is a cheaper iPhone only, let's just hope that Apple makes it cheaper for everybody, not necessarily only for them or carriers. Well, that does it for the cool. Let's continue on with the not so cool. What didn't we get on the March 2nd event? Well, first of all, the iPad 2 is not 4G. It did not get external storage. It did not get more built-in storage. iOS 5 was not announced with no better enhanced notification system. We did not get changes on Mobile Me. We still have to pay $100 for it, and there's no music streaming services through it, so expect no groundbreaking changes for the next generation iPhone either, aside from that. So, that was it. And well, one weird thing about iOS 4.3 Goldmaster is the fact that the personal hotspot feature will only be for 3 devices and not 5 like you get on the Verizon iPhone. Oh, and aside from that, that iOS 4.3 update will not be available for Verizon customers or for the iPhone 3G either. So, not cool at all. And while the A5 processor news are not necessarily good news for everybody yet. See, the reason why Green Poison is so effective in jailbreaking iOS devices is because the Shatter exploit is able to work on the A4 chip no matter what iOS changes come to it. And we really don't know what to expect with the A5 chip just yet. The Chronic dev team and the dev team haven't mentioned anything, so let's wait for March 11th and see what happens. That's it for today's show. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Jaime Rivera. Remember to give us a thumbs up if you like what you saw. That's it for now.